Look, today I'm going to go for a gallop on the jet ski. I've just checked her over. It did say that I'm low voltage in the battery, and that's because I've had it sitting for a wee while. So I've got my wet gear out now. I've just checked that my battery's good in my handheld radio and attached my emergency locator beacon on there. Short distance out to Tauranga there, not very far. I'll make sure I've got water there. I've got some flares. I've got the radio. I contact Coast Guard to tell them where I'm going and what time on my app, and just make sure everything's dead right, because if you're on your own, you've got to be self-sufficient. You log your trip here. So let's go. Will you be crossing a bar? No. Will you coming back to? Same place. How long, when will you be back? It currently says it's 50. Back to one person on board, and it's me. Next. Bungs in, let's go, you see. So the last few things I do is to make sure that my chart plot is on, that my fuel is full, that my VTS is in a neutral position, and go through my checks of have I logged a trip, have I got water on board, have I got my safety gear in place, and all those things I've done. So I'm on the back side of Mt Maunganui now, quite a steep climb up there, but across the bottom here is the walking track right round. There was no sense in me filming the path out to here because the sun was directly in my eyes. Let's go around a bit further. Mt Maunganui again from the seaward side. The zig and the zag track goes up there, you see, right up there, and then you peak on up to the top. My granddaughters do that with their mother for a bit of exercise. I've done it a couple of times, but I'd sooner do it with a drone. The surf beach in here, I don't know why it's best inside that bay there, but that seems to be where the cart is that you can hire the surfboards, etc. There's quite a bit of wind, so I have to stop to be able to talk to you, but this one here is called Pigeon Island, and the pigeons all come out of the city out to here of a night time to a safe roost. We've got the tide incoming at the moment, so I'll be able to sneak through here. It's hard to read that sign, but I can bet that it says no landing. They don't want people up on there. Leave the birds alone. But I should be able to idle through this stony stuff here. Oops, there's rocks here. Go around it. I downloaded an app to tell me what these ships are out at anchor and where they've come from, their last port. You have to pay a bit extra money to get more details, but it certainly tells me who they are, when they were born, and what tonnage, etc, etc. My plan was to come round to this side of the island and stop and talk about the boats out there, but this is the roughest side, so she's bubbling a bit here. And this is when the engine cuts out and you're on your own. Shocking. Big stones just there, can you see them? Let's bugger off. Big shag here in the water, can you see him? Great little boat this, it just loves the waves. And you might think you're getting wet, but it's not the case. It just sheds all the water around you. I could go a lot faster and she'd still chop away through this, but you'd never hear what I was saying. So we've got an incoming tide here. As you come in, you find different pressure waves as it all tries to get past this point here between there and there. The white markers over there are the line for the ships coming in. They line those up from way out further beyond A Buoy. And between the red marker and the green marker there is the navigational area, or the pilotage area is the other call for it. Off to my right is called Matakana Island, a big long one that goes right away nearly down as far as Waihi. As I get round this next point here, things will settle down and I'll have smooth water. There's a small reef runs out into the waterway here from this peninsula here. I can see it now. I don't know whether you can, but the green buoy is where I should be out beyond that. But with a jet ski you can take some liberties if you know what you're doing. Let's hope I know what I'm doing. So I've come across that whole distance on cruise control, and to get out of cruise control and step her up a bit, I've got to stop the engine. So I pull her up like so and then start her again, and that resets the cruise control, and I've got more grunt now. So the ferry pulls in here. This is a small inter-island ferry here. Picks up that logging. I see the school bus there, so the ferry must also drop them off at the jetty here and spread them down the valley there to their respective homes. There's a marae on this other corner down here. Big tanks and under, and she's fully loaded. She's right up to the plimsoll line. These ones ahead are loading logs, as you can see, but you see this one here, she's ready to go out on the next tide. They're just lashing her all down now, and she's right up to a plimsoll line there ready to go. The next one, they've loaded the back of it first, and then the next one hasn't got hardly any in it at all. So they're working their way right from the back to the front here to load. second boat here is the Luno, a bulk carrier that left Napier on the 16th, took 4 days to get across here to Tauranga. Its maximum speed is 7.8 knots and a dead weight of 40,000 tonnes. The next boat, the Balloon, is another bulk carrier registered in Panama. It's sailed here across from Gisborne and arrived only today. It's got a dead weight of 42,000 tonnes. This is the newest looking one of them all with their new cranes. And see the loading logs on there with the big cranes. There they go, coming on now. Huge grapples there, putting them on. There's the Plinsoll line there, the orange line along the bottom, so she's loaded up too and ready to go. They're just putting the top layer on. Sometimes they go into other ports like Napier and, well, the shallower ports. I just can't name them off by heart. And bottom layer on in those ports and then come up here to the deep port at Tauranga to put the last of the load on up high. Often you see security coming out and they're eyeballing me as I go past on the boat to make sure I'm not going to board. Throw a grapple up there and get up there. Unlikely. And of course all these logs here are all sorted to shapes and sizes, and each log has individually got a barcode or a QR code on now to identify its size, weight and all that. And those organisers there, or high lift, the high abs there, they can raise the cab of the unit up. See, that one there is quite high up in the air, so we can have a good eyeball at the working level. See where the logs have to go. And the yellow marker here tells me that I've got to drop it back to 5 knots. This big boat that's a visitor to Tauranga is has to tie up on the outside. It's taking on fuel there at the fuel bowser. Hell of a sail area on that big boat when she's underway, isn't it? 3 furling sails on the front and a big mainsail at the back. Here's the hoist here to lift the boats in and out of the water. One just going in at the present time. Well, that concludes this trip. I'll get her back on the trailer and I wonder what will happen next.
It sound right, boys.
Good morning, Elvin Olsen. Well, I've got a treat for you today. I've been resurrecting some of my camping gear from Aussie. This is my little camp oven that I had over there, and invariably I'd be making bread or stews or something like that. So today I thought I'd put a stew together for you. There's the little firebox in underneath, the that methanol gas that I've come across. So I'm going to put a stew together for you today to show you how wonderfully well this cooks. Let's get some heat under the pot here. So this little 2-quart campfire camp oven is one I used in Aussie from time to time. You can see you've got the jolly swag man there, camped by the fire or by the billy bomb. When I made bread out in the outback, I used this skillet in the bottom. It just fits in there nicely. Put your dough in the inside the tin foil and sit that in the bottom, and then cover that all over with ashes. Often got a good outcome. A couple of failures, but invariably it was better than no bread at all. My first ingredient is to add some onions. They shouldn't take too long. I've sorted out some rump steak chumps here just to give a bit of beef flavour to the what I've also done here is some carrots, parsnips, the slithers of the carrots and parsnip, some peas, some pumpkin, mushroom, a garlic and an oxo cube to go into the fluids. The heat's starting to come through to my casserole. Just got to give it a few minutes before I put all those together. The next thing to go in is the steak. I'll put that oxo cube into a cup here. In that goes. And I just add my things. First the parsnips, put them round. The carrots. The odds and sods that come off the side of the carrots. Bit of mushroom. Pumpkin there, that's always good in there. And finally the peas. So that's the brew. Let's put the lid on and we'll give it a bit of time. I can feel that pot is coming up to temperature, but let's hope that methanol does the job. Well, it's been about an hour now. We'll see how it's going here with the temperature. We've got steam up. Yeah. Let's get a piece of meat and see how that is, because that's the proof in the pudding, isn't it? No, it's still a little bit tough. We'll give it a bit longer. So this has been cooking for a little over an hour and a half, and any more and I'm dehydrating it too much. So I'm going to call that enough. And to me it looks alright. There's that lump of garlic I meant to break up. That was, I meant to break that up before I put it in there. That can go straight out there. There's just one more thing I like to do while I've got the heat in that. I'll keep the heat in it. You'll see the obvious flaw in my process here. I'm going to put that in there and just warm that up a bit. That's a potato. It's deceptive how warm that little oven there is keeping that food. Now how can I keep that warm? Up on top, like that. I'll put that on to keep it warm, eh? So just a short time later, That potato is warmed up no end. And I'll take that in and present this wonderful meal to Bev. And I'll put that on there to keep the flies out of it. Let's see if this butter's warm enough. It looks alright, doesn't it? I've just brought this in and presented it to Bev, and over there she doesn't want to be on film, but she's saying to me, this is very nice. I don't know where the taste comes from. There's mint in this, and I did use minted peas, but anyway, I'm going to call that a success. The mushrooms are just right, the spud's not up to much, but everything else is good. Cooking with Alvin.